Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Magic Pill Monday, where we look at all kinds of supplements and the scientific evidence about them to see if this supplement is going to be a performance booster for you, if it can help you with your health or your daily life, or if it's simply going to be a waste of money. And today we're looking at Beta Alanine, and Beta Alanine is an ingredient mostly used for improving sports performance, so you will find it in things like pre-workout supplements. And I call it a misused performance booster, and I'll show you why. So let's have a look. So first of all, why would you actually supplement beta alanine? Well, beta alanine can be found in things like meat mostly, and only in small amounts. So we see only 0.2 grams per 100 gram, about. And the effective dosage of beta alanine that we see in literature is typically above 3.2 grams per day. So it is very unlikely that we will reach that amount through food alone, which is why supplementation is necessary. Now, what does beta alanine actually do? Well, basically, when ingested, it turns into the molecule carnosine when combined with histidine. And this carnosine molecule acts as an acid buffer in the body. So when you do exercise, there is an increase in acidity in your cells, and carnosine acts as a buffer for that acidity, and as a result you might see an improvement in your exercise performance. As it says at the bottom here, during intense exercise, carnosine binds to hydrogen ions to attenuate the decline in intercellular pH, allowing for a longer duration of exercise at higher intensities. So this is the main way beta alanine works. So based on that, you would say, well, beta alanine must be good for workout performance, right? And as a result, you see that a lot of supplements on the market contain beta alanine. So most notably, actually, pre-workout supplements that are usually meant for people going to the gym, lifting weights. Now, they can also be used by other sports, people doing soccer or tennis or running or cycling, but they're most often used by weightlifters. And as you can see, I just picked a couple of the most popular pre-workout supplements out there. The one on the right is one from my home country, the Netherlands, very popular here. And they all contain some amount of beta alanine. Now you can also buy it separately, just as a powder form. So let's have a look at the scientific evidence. Does it actually benefit workout performance? So here we have the first study that I would like to take a look at. As you saw on the previous slide, most of these supplements contain about between 1 and 2 grams of beta alanine per serving. So what we see here in this study is that chronic beta alanine supplementation increases the intracellular content of carnosine in skeletal muscle and can subsequently improve sports and exercise performance. Current recommendations based upon the available evidence suggest ingesting 3.2 to 6.4 grams per day of beta alanine for 4 to 24 weeks. So interestingly enough, we see that that study recommends 3.2 to 6.4 grams per day. And here we only see one of these supplements has the 3.2 grams per serving. So that's already quite interesting to see. Now here we have another study that looked at the effects of beta alanine supplementation on exercise performance. It is a meta-analysis, which means that they look at all kinds of research in this area and sort of combine the findings. And most interesting is the sentence all the way at the bottom of the abstract, which says, the median effect of beta alanine supplementation is a 2.85% improvement in the outcome of an exercise measure when a median total of 179 grams of beta alanine is supplemented. So what this means is that in order to see a 2.85% benefit, which is, let's be fair, a rather small benefit, we have to supplement a total of 179 grams. Now, based on the daily supplementation recommendations that we saw in the earlier research, so 3.2 to 6.4 grams per day, this would mean that we have to supplement beta alanine for at least 28 to 56 days every day to reach a 2.85% increase in performance. Not that impressive for the amount of supplementation that you will have to do. Now, from the same study, they were also looking at what sort of exercise does beta alanine benefit. And here we see another very interesting finding. It says the data in this meta-analysis clearly shows that exercise over duration less than 60 seconds is not improved by beta alanine supplementation, while exercise of 60 to 240 seconds clearly is improved, and exercise over 240 seconds is also improved, although to a lesser extent. So what we see is there's no improvement when the exercise duration is less than 60 seconds according to this meta-analysis. Now, when you think about a typical set in the gym, if you're doing weightlifting, it might have a maximum of 20 repetitions, but most people will only do about surrounding the 10 repetitions. Now, even if you would do very strict form, you would probably take about 3 seconds per repetition. But usually it is less because most people don't use extremely strict form. So that actually means that basically all sets, but at least the far majority of sets, are all below a total duration of 60 seconds. So I think based on these findings, we can already say that at least when it comes to weightlifting, beta alanine has no effect on performance. Now, this is confirmed by another study that was looking specifically at beta alanine supplementation and resistance trained men. So here we have 19 resistant trained men, meaning those people are weightlifting, and they had quite some experience. Training experience average was around 6 years, so quite experienced. And they were taking 6.4 grams a day of beta alanine. So this is within the recommended range that we saw earlier. Actually, it's on the top end of that. So they are definitely taking enough beta alanine. In the study, they were looking at several performance measures: the 1 repetition maximum in the bench press and the squat, the 60% of the 1 rep maximum in the bench and the squat, and also the muscle thickness of the biceps, triceps, and vastus lateralis. So 3 different muscles. In the end, they found that there was no significant difference between the group taking beta alanine and the group taking placebo. And in conclusion, they say that the 8-week training period induced significant strength and morphological responses. However, the addition of beta alanine supplementation did not enhance these adaptive outcomes. In other words, for these resistance trained men, there was no benefit at all in supplementing 6.4 grams a day of beta alanine. And as you remembered earlier, most of these supplements that we saw only contained about 1 to 2 grams. So these guys were even taking about 3 times of dosage typically found in some of these supplements. Now, when we look at a different type of exercise, we do see an improvement. So typically we see this when we look at exercise between 60 and 240 seconds. So here, the same study that we looked at earlier, the meta-analysis, says currently only one exercise test, the cycling capacity test at 110% power max, has been repeated with different subjects taking beta alanine. These studies have shown that with 145.6 and 179 grams of beta alanine, exercise capacity time to exhaustion was improved by 11.8 and 12.1%. Therefore, given the potential demonstrated for significant improvements in exercise lasting 60 to 240 seconds. And another study that was not included in this meta-analysis also showed a 14% increase in time to exhaustion for maximum power cycling tests that last 60 to 240 seconds. So it does seem that beta alanine can improve workout performance, but only for a very specific sort of workout. So that is the important thing to notice. Now again, it does seem that it is very specific situations wherein beta alanine can improve workout performance. Because in this study, they were looking at elite swimmers in 10-week beta alanine supplementation and the effect it had on their performance. So these elite swimmers, they were supplemented with 4.8 grams a day or 3.2 grams a day later of beta alanine. So we're still in this effective range that we saw earlier. And they found the following: while there was a transient improvement on training performance after 4 weeks with beta alanine, there was an unclear effect at 10 weeks and no meaningful changes in blood chemistry. Beta alanine supplementation appears to have minimal effect on swimming performance in non-laboratory controlled real-world training and competition settings. So, to conclude all of these findings, when we look at the pre-workout supplements that I selected earlier, first of all of them are underdosed except for the Total War pre-workout. So to begin, they contain a dosage far below the minimum required dosage for beta alanine. Secondly, pre-workout supplements are typically not taken daily. And we saw earlier that you need to take at least 3.2 grams of beta alanine every day for quite a long period of time in order to gain the benefits. So to be fair, these supplements, the inclusion of beta alanine in these supplements is kind of pointless, worthless. Now there is some benefit of beta alanine for exercise, but it is under a few conditions. Namely, that the exercise duration should be longer than 60 seconds, and we especially see a benefit in the 60 to 240 second range when people are going all out in, for example, a cycling performance test. They're really going to the maximum, and there we see some benefits. So this is a very specific type of exercise where people are going all out. So it could be, for example, a sprint or a race in cycling or running that takes between 60 and 240 seconds, where beta alanine might be beneficial. Now, secondly, we need to supplement at least daily with at least 3.2 grams. And we need to build up to a storage of beta alanine in the body of around 179 grams. So we need to supplement 3.2 grams at least for quite a few days to reach that threshold where we are going to see that performance improvement. Now, another potential benefit of beta alanine is actually an improvement in mood and cognition in the elderly. And there is only one good study investigating this, but it is quite interesting. And we read here that this study investigated 10 weeks of beta alanine supplementation on changes in cognitive function, mood, and physical performance in 100 older adults around the age of 70. Participants were randomized into a beta alanine group or a placebo group, and they were taking 2.4 grams per day. Now, they were doing quite a few tests, such as the Montreal Cognitive Assessments, MoCA, the Geriatric Depression Scale, GDS, and the Geriatric Anxiety Scale, GAS. Further on, we read, participants in the beta alanine group experienced significant improvements in MoCA scores compared to placebo. So they saw improvements in the cognitive assessment. No differences were noted in mood scores, GAS, so geriatric anxiety scales, or any of the physical performance measures. A significant decrease was observed in the GDS for participants consuming beta alanine, but not in the placebo group. So summarized, we see an increase in the cognitive assessment scores and a decrease on the depression scale. In other words, people that were taking beta alanine were less depressed and became more cognitively able. So we see some improved mood and cognition. Now, it is worth saying that this study is done in elderly, so we have no idea if a similar effect will be seen among younger people. The third possible benefit of beta alanine worth noting is an increase in longevity, actually. So as we saw earlier, beta alanine can increase the carnosine levels in the body. Now here it says, and this is from the website examine.com, carnosine can reduce the rate of cellular aging in cultured fibroblasts. So a fibroblast is a type of cell that contributes to the formation of connective tissue. This anti-aging effect may be due to carnosine's ability to reduce the rate of telomere shortening, as was noted at 20 millimolars in cultured human fibroblasts. So when we're talking about telomere shortening, telomere length has to do with our DNA, our chromosomes, and telomere length shortens with age. Progressive shortening of telomeres leads to senescence, so aging, apoptosis, this refers to cell death, or oncogenic, this refers to cancerogenic effect, transformation of somatic cells, affecting the health and lifespan of an individual. Shorter telomeres have been associated with increased incidence of diseases and poor survival. So to summarize all of this, it seems that carnosine can reduce the rate of telomere shortening, and telomere shortening is linked to aging and disease. Further on, we read also on examine.com, carnosine's ability to reduce protein alteration may derive from its being an antioxidant, a chelator of toxic metal ions, an anti-glycating agent, and an aldehyde carbonyl binder. Again, lots of difficult words, but what it basically comes down to is that carnosine seems to be able to clean up a lot of toxic and potential harmful substances that occur within the cells. Here we see a little summary. Carnosine appears to have general protective effects on a variety of proteins in cells. This may prevent the accumulation of toxic proteins in the body, and carnosine may also act in a sacrificial manner to excrete some modified protein carbonyls from the body. So carnosine simply seems to work as a sort of cleaner of toxic compounds that are in the cell. And as a result, it might improve our health and increase our lifespan. Now, risks and downsides. When it comes to beta alanine, there are two risks worth talking about. First of all is that beta alanine and taurine are in some sort of competition because they use the same transporter. And some research on animals indicates that beta alanine can actually induce a taurine deficiency. I read here, in animals, this 3% intake of beta alanine in water may reduce circulating levels of taurine by 50% to 77%, and cardiac levels of taurine by 16.6% to 22.7%. Prolonged cellular exposure to beta alanine appears to be reliably induce taurine deficiency. In animal studies, cellular taurine can be reduced by up to 77% with continual administration of beta alanine via the drinking water. So in animals at least, it seems that chronic beta alanine supplementation or ingestion can induce a taurine deficiency, which of course will not be good for our health. Now it's important to note that none of this has ever been shown in humans as of yet. And this is partly due to the fact that not a lot of people even take beta alanine daily for such a long time. And also they have not even looked at the taurine levels in humans when they were studying beta alanine. So there might be a similar effect in humans, but we just don't know this. Now another downside or risk when it comes to beta alanine is paresthesia. Anyone who has ever taken beta alanine knows this. When you take a sufficient dose of beta alanine, your entire body starts itching and tingling, your skin starts warming up, and this is generally a very unpleasant feeling. It is not harmful in any way, it's just very unpleasant. Now this can be avoided by taking smaller dosages, so instead of taking 3.2 grams all at once or more than that, you can divide it into smaller dosages and take them every 3 to 4 hours, and in that way you might be able to avoid this tingling, itchy sensation. When it comes to dosage and quality, we already saw that you should be taking 3.2 to 6.4 grams a day for at least 28 to 56 days to build up to that 179 grams in total. Now, another important thing to mention is that studies showed that when you take beta alanine with a meal, absorption is much better. So here we see second, in soleus muscles, the efficiency of carnosine loading is significantly higher when it is congested with a meal compared with in between the meals, suggesting that insulin stimulates the muscle carnosine loading. So if you are going to take beta alanine, consider taking it with a meal. If you want to avoid the paresthesia, take smaller amounts, as I showed on the previous slide. And when it comes to quality, for beta alanine, this does not really seem to be a concern. Now, from personal experience, I have taken beta alanine before. It's one of the foremost supplements that's being sold for people that are interested in supplements for the gym. And what I experienced was the extreme itchiness from beta alanine and also the warm skin effect. But when it comes to improving my performance, I really did not find any noticeable effect. Final verdict, I would give beta alanine a 6 out of 10. And the reason is that taking beta alanine is quite uncomfortable, the itchiness, the red skin, the tingling sensation. It is quite impractical, you have to take it every day. And if you want to avoid the tingling sensation, you have to also divide this dosage into multiple smaller dosages throughout the day. Quite impractical if you ask me. Also, I do not like the taurine depletion aspect of it. Even though it has not been shown in humans yet, I think taurine is important for our health, and I don't think beta alanine is so beneficial that I want to risk taurine depletion. And the reason I still give it a 6 out of 10 is because it does seem that for specific use cases, such as sports between 60 to 240 seconds, beta alanine can have really a significant benefit. So if you are a sports person and you do, for example, Olympic or competitive sports that is in this range of 60 to 240 seconds, beta alanine should absolutely be in your arsenal. But other than that, I think most people should think about other supplements before considering beta alanine. I don't think it's going to be beneficial for most people. All right, that's it for today. If you liked the video, please leave a like. Let me know in the comments if you have ever tried beta alanine and if you saw any performance benefits from it. If you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day. I see you later. Bye bye.